No one
Do they have
else.
Pride in Vietnam?
No.
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 Yeah.
I think I'm gonna do like a homecoming thing afterwards, but it's still pretty new.
Oh, work. Okay.
Hmm.
Here's a question. Like in St. Lucia, like okay, so in the Caribbean, like on a scale of like the one being like extremely homophobic to 10 being like super liberal, like super open, St. Lucia is probably like eight and a half. You know what I mean? There's still some
Okay,
people that are
cool.
really conservative. They're like whatever, but for the
Yeah,
most part, everyone is generally accepting. How is it over there in
yeah.
Vietnam?
I think it's better now. I think it's still like seven, six, seven.
Okay. Yeah.
Um, seven mostly. But there are
Yeah.
parts where it's just like, they're just really rich or they're just really poor.
Hmm.
And the country is still socialist, like communist socialist. So
Yeah.
the government decides on whatever they want to put out.
Got
So
it.
as soon as those people die, we'll be better.
If they die, is it?
Uh-huh. That's
Again,
it. Mm.
that's like St. Lucia too. St. Lucia is like either you're like really well off or you're like really poor and
Mm.
like
Hmm.
going back there like it's still tough to see. Like some people like are literally like living in like shacks. Like people living in like
Rich.
houses built by 2x4 that are just
Mm.
you know what I mean. It's like
Yes.
it's such a it's so different in like the folks there.
We went back to my family's house where I lived until I was like three or something.
Hmm.
We have like one house that is like in like the poor area and one house like right next to the market. And the poorer house is like literally like sheets, like foiled stuff put together. And I was like, wow, it's wild.
Yeah.
So when I go back, yeah, it's crazy to see how like lucky you are.
Yeah, for sure. But if they were to do a Drag Race Vietnam, obviously you're the host. Duh.
Obviously,
Duh.
but yeah, until that time comes, we'll have to see. Drag right now is like I think it's like a year. They say like before there was like no drag queens, but I think now it's been like a year or two that drag has like I can count like on like how many drag queens there are in Vietnam,
Oh,
but it's
really?
like yes,
Oh,
yes.
shit.
They started out doing like lotto shows, which is like bingo, and then they like sing the
Wow.
numbers, and then now they're starting to have like drag performances in those shows, and it's
Word.
just it's so special to see. It's so
Word.
like it's just like natural out of the field, 120 degrees weather, and these bitches are in like wigs,
120. No.
120, like dipping, doing the splits off like 2 stories building, and I'm just like
120 degrees.
insane.
Girl,
Ah,
in where they just set a record in Delhi, India. They just had the hottest day ever on the planet. It was 122.8 degrees in Delhi, India. And I'm like, imagine.